everyone. We are here with a very special guest. I'm really glad to have you here with us, sir. Could you do us the honor of telling us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Adam Sölkman, and I am the cultural attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Algiers. I've been here in Algeria now for 6 months. And so as cultural affairs officer, I'm in charge of all of our exchange programs, all of our arts programs, and also our English language programs.
Wow, that's really great. So basically we are going to discuss like 2 or 3 questions. And I didn't get the chance to ask my questions in the conference earlier, but my question is, you guys talked about critical thinking. What about other soft skills that need to be reinforced rather than focusing on only like hard skills in school?
So I think that critical thinking is a very important skill that students should learn in schools.
Yeah.
It's something where I also think that U.S. Educational system excels. It's something on which we place a lot of emphasis in the U.S. system.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, there's other soft skills that I think are very important for students to...
Just like as the critical thinking.
Right, to master. Because I think especially in the economy these days, certain hard skills are certainly important in certain fields.
Yeah.
But particularly if you want to be an administrator, or if you want to be a business person, or if you want to work in international affairs, the ability to communicate, the ability to work in teams, to work with others, to manage projects,
Yeah.
and also the kind of emotional intelligence that's required to deal with people on a day-to-day basis. These are very, very important skills. And they're overlooked, and I think people underestimate how hard it is to really master. It's not something that you can just learn in school. It's actually something you learn throughout the entire lifespan or your entire career.
Yeah, and I do agree with all what you said. But don't you think that schools are kind of faking? I'm not going to say faking, but really faking the idea of like preparing students to take on the real world and like to prepare them to be good citizens. Like schools are not teaching how to write an impressive CV to get a job. Like schools are mainly focusing on like building and shoving in like the information on like in the students' minds and be tested on it later, and like be forgotten after they got tested. So what do you have to comment?
Yeah, well, look, I'll say a couple things there. One, information is important. You can't just have the soft skills. You can't just learn how to communicate. It's important to study the masters who came before us. It's important to read the important books and the canon of literature. It's important to have those hard skills as well.
Yeah.
So schools should continue to focus on those. And listen, I've been here 6 months in Algeria. I'm a diplomat. I'm not a specialist in education.
Yeah.
I've only visited a handful of Algerian universities, so I don't feel like I'm personally in a position to comment on the Algerian educational system.
Yeah.
But I will say is I have seen an effort. And the realization is there. When I talk to the ministry, when I visit schools, there's a realization that schools need to change, and schools need to adapt, that they need to provide these sort of critical thinking skills, language skills, communication skills. And so it's not easy either. It's not easy to change any system, much less the biggest country in Africa that consists of, I think, 111 different universities spread out across a huge piece of land with many, many students. So it's going to be a process. But look, I mean, we're here at this wonderful conference that's a collaboration between 2 different schools that's being done in English, which is incredibly impressive, which is for many of you a 3rd or 4th language. So I think that people are taking the steps that need to be taken, at least from what I've seen in the short time that I've been here.
Yeah. We are the change, as I like to always say. Thank you so much for your answers, and I hope you enjoyed your stay here in Algeria.
Oh, it's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.